What if everything you thought you knew was a lie? A voice she couldn't ignore whispered to her, "Check his phone now, or you may never wake up tomorrow." Her hands shook as she picked up his phone, unlocked it, and what she found shattered her but saved her life. Tamara was 35, beautiful in a quiet and commanding way. She came from a wealthy home and runs her late father's company in Abuja. She was elegant, fashionable, and graceful, always carrying herself like a woman who knew her worth. To the world she had everything: money, success, beauty, and a husband who adored her. Mike was 30, handsome, tall, and always dressed like a model on a billboard. He was a phone technician with several shops across town. People liked him. He was fashionable, gentle, and full of charm. Tamara met him at a wedding 2 years earlier, and within months she was swept off her feet. When they married, everyone said they were perfect: her beauty and class, his charisma and ambition. Their house in Abuja was simple yet luxurious: white marble floors, golden chandeliers, velvet curtains, and sleek cars resting in the garage. To outsiders, they were the dream couple. But behind closed doors, cracks had begun to show slowly. Mike, who loved and respected Tamara, started leaving the table during dinner to answer calls. He kept his phone in his pocket all the time, even when he went to bathe. His laughter came from the balcony late at night, hushed and secretive. He started locking his phone with new passwords. "Business calls," he would say whenever Tamara asked. "Clients want urgent work." Tamara tried to believe him. She was raised to believe that trust was the pillar of love. But her heart grew heavier each day. Destiny, their house help, was 25. She came in humble and quiet, working hard, always respectful until Mike started making advances towards her. He wouldn't give her a breathing space whenever they were home alone until she gave in to his request. He promised her a good life, and over time, her character changed. She started applying lipsticks and wearing revealing dresses to clean the house. She laughed louder whenever Mike was around. Tamara began to notice stolen glances between them, whispers in the corridor that ended when she appeared. Still, Tamara said nothing. She only prayed one night, whispering into the darkness, "Lord, don't let me be blind in my home. Show me what I need to see." One evening, Tamara stood by the window. From behind the curtain, she saw Mike and Destiny leaning against one of the cars. Their voices floated into the house, too low for neighbors, but sharp enough for her ears. Destiny's voice trembled with excitement. "You promised to make me the madam of the house. You said we would do something to achieve it. When will we do it? I am tired of hiding." Mike's reply was calm, smooth, and dangerous. "Relax. I have it all planned. The papers come first. Once she signs, we cash out. Then we move." Tamara pressed her hand against the wall. Her breath caught in her chest. Destiny laughed softly. "And after that, then what next? When do we leave for Accra?" "You promised me a lot, remember?" Mike chuckled. "Soon. I already took a picture of the land document. The agent is working on the transfer. By the time she realizes, it will be too late." Tamara's stomach turned to ice. Then Destiny's tone changed, more serious, more afraid. "But about the clinic. You didn't tell her, right?" He was silent. Tamara's ears strained. Mike's voice dropped low, almost a hiss. "Keep quiet. I told you I am on some medications. It will clear up." "But the test," Destiny whispered. "It said positive." Mike snapped, "Shh. Do you want her to hear us?" They both went quiet. Moments later, the back door creaked open and shut. Tamara stayed behind the curtain, frozen. Her hands shook. Her mind raced. What clinic? What test? An infection? That night, Mike went into the bathroom. The sound of running water filled the room. His phone buzzed on the bed. Tamara looked at it. The screen lit up with a message. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Clinic review. Don't miss it. Dr. Uche. Her heart pounded. Her hands trembled. She remembered the conversation and something whispered inside her. Check it now. She hesitated. She had never touched his phone before, but tonight felt different. Life or death hung in the air. Her thumb pressed the screen. 4 digits. The phone unlocked. What she saw inside almost made her scream. A WhatsApp chat with someone saved as Agent K. Pictures of her land documents, her father's signature, notes about a transfer, plans for her to unknowingly sign. Another chat from Destiny Love as he had saved her contact. Voice notes of laughter, of secret promises. Destiny's voice. When we get to Ghana, we'll buy the apartment. Mike's voice. Don't worry, she'll sign everything. She will never know. Her chest burned. She scrolled again. A text message from Dr. Uche. Mike, your result is positive. Make sure you complete your drugs. Protect your health. Do not infect anyone. Tears filled Tamara's eyes. She dropped the phone on the bed, her hand over her mouth to stop the scream from rising inside. Betrayal burned through her veins. Her husband, her house help, the man she loved, was planning to ruin her, infect her, take everything from her, including what her father left for her. She picked the phone again. She screenshotted everything, chats, messages, photos, and quickly sent them to her email. She also sent them to her best friend Chioma with a note. If anything happens to me, take this to the police. The water stopped. The door handle turned. Tamara placed the phone exactly where it had been. She grabbed a book and opened it, her eyes pretending to read. Mike walked out, his smile easy and charming. He kissed her forehead. You're still awake? Yes, she whispered, her voice calm, though her heart thundered. He lay down beside her and soon drifted into sleep. But Tamara did not sleep. She stared at the ceiling, whispering softly, God, you have opened my eyes. Give me courage to act fast tomorrow. And in the silence of that dark night, a solution was born. The next morning, Tamara sat at the dining table, her spoon in her hand, but her food untouched. Her heart felt like a stone in her chest. Across from her, Mike chewed happily, humming while he ate, his phone glowing beside his plate. Today we'll be busy, he said, flashing her a smile. I have 1 or 2 documents I need you to sign at the bank. Don't worry, it's nothing serious, just normal transaction papers. His tone was very casual. Tamara nodded and forced a small smile. All right. She pressed her lips against the spoon so he would not see them trembling. Destiny came in with a tray of fruit. She smiled, but her eyes carried something else. Guilt, fear, greed. She placed the tray on the table and quickly left. Tamara followed her with her eyes, and for a moment she imagined standing up, grabbing Destiny's arm and shouting, How dare you betray me in my own house? But she didn't. Not yet. She needed proof. She needed safety. By mid-morning, Tamara left the house quietly. She told Mike she was going to check on a client, but instead she drove straight to the hospital. Every second behind the wheel felt like a lifetime. Positive, the message on Mike's phone had said, avoid unprotected contact. The words replayed over and over, scratching her brain like sharp claws. Inside the hospital, she sat stiffly in the waiting area, her handbag pressed to her chest. When Dr. Bissy finally called her in, Tamara's legs felt like water. Tamara, what's wrong? You look pale, the doctor said. Please, Tamara whispered. Test me for everything. HIV, STDs, everything. The doctor frowned. Why? Did something happen? Tamara's eyes filled with tears, but she shook her head. Just help me. The tests were carried out. Tamara waited. Minutes dragged like hours. She stared at the clock, at the floor, at the nurse walking past. Her stomach twisted until she thought she would vomit. Finally, the doctor returned with a file. She sat down slowly, her face unreadable. Tamara gripped the chair. Her whole body shook. The doctor's lips parted. "You are safe. All results are clear." For a moment, Tamara couldn't breathe. Her vision blurred with tears. Then she bent forward, covered her face with her hands, and whispered, "Thank you, God. Thank you." Relief washed over her, then came anger. Anger that the man she trusted could have destroyed her life. From the hospital, Tamara drove straight to her father's old lawyer. His office smelled of leather and dust. "Barrister Ease," she said softly, her voice shaking. "They want to steal my landed properties. Look at this." She handed him her phone. He scrolled through the screenshots, Mike's messages with Agent K, Destiny's voice notes, the forged documents. His eyes hardened. "Tamara," he said, "you have been blessed with wisdom. If you had not seen this, you would have signed away everything. Don't worry. I will secure your documents immediately. No one will touch them." Tears pricked Tamara's eyes again. "Thank you, sir." It was almost noon when she entered the bank. The lobby smelled of fresh paint and air conditioning. Her father's old friend, the branch manager, came out to meet her. "Tamara, it's been a while," he said kindly. She leaned close and whispered, "Please freeze my accounts. No withdrawals without me. I have changed all my codes as well. My husband is planning something terrible." The manager studied her face, then nodded firmly. "Consider it done." As he signed the papers, Tamara felt a little safer, but she knew safety was not complete. Mike was still out there, moving like a snake in tall grass. When she returned home, Mike was in the living room. He was dressed smart, his car keys in his hand, smiling as if the world was his. "You're back just in time," he said warmly. "We should go to the bank now. Just sign some things and we'll be done." Tamara swallowed hard. "Let me change my dress first." He nodded. "Be quick. Time is money, you know." She climbed the stairs, but her legs felt weak. Inside her room, she sank onto the bed and clasped her hands together. "God," she whispered, "I am so scared. Give me wisdom. Give me courage." At 2 p.m., they arrived at the bank together. Destiny stayed in the car, her eyes glittering with excitement, already dreaming of a new life in Ghana. Inside the bank, a man in a gray suit waited with a folder on the table. He rose with a smile. "Good afternoon, Madam Tamara. I am Agent K. Just a little paperwork. Nothing to worry about." Tamara's eyes dropped to the folder. On top, she saw the words bold and black. "Transfer of property." Her blood ran cold. Mike placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Sign here, my love. It's just the regular bank procedure. Quick, hurry up, then we'll go for dinner." Tamara's fingers hovered above the pen. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Her palms were wet with sweat. Mike's eyes narrowed. "Why are you hesitating?" "Sign it, my love." Her throat was dry. She glanced around, praying for help, but everyone in the room stared at her expectantly. Her hand shook as she picked up the pen. She bent forward. The paper swam before her eyes, and then, bang! 3 sharp knocks on the glass door, heavy, authoritative. Everyone turned. 2 policemen entered, followed by Inspector Ikenna. His eyes were like stone as he scanned the room. "Step away from the table," he ordered. His voice was calm but heavy with power. "This signing is over." Mike's face was drained of color. Agent K froze. Tamara gripped the pen so tight her knuckles turned white. Her heart whispered, "Thank goodness." The silence in the bank felt heavy after Inspector Ikenna's words. No one moved. Even the air conditioner seemed to hum more quietly. Mike's confident smile cracked. His hand slid away from Tamara's shoulder. His lips trembled, but he forced out a laugh. "Inspector, you came just in time," Mike said quickly. "This is just normal business. My wife is confused." "Shut your mouth," the inspector cut in, his voice sharp as a blade. "You think you can lie your way out of this? We already have everything." He raised a brown envelope and dropped it onto the table. Inside were the printed screenshots, the voice notes, and the medical message from Dr. Uche. Mike's face went pale. Agent K shifted on his chair, beads of sweat rolling down his forehead. "Fraud, attempted theft, attempted poisoning," Inspector Ikenna said coldly. He turned to Tamara. "Madam, you are safe now. You were right to call us." Tamara's throat tightened. She had to grip the table to steady herself. Safe. That one word felt heavier than gold. Two policemen stepped forward. They grabbed Mike's wrists and pulled him to his feet. Handcuffs clicked around his hands. "Wait!" Mike shouted, his eyes wild. He turned to Tamara. "My love, tell them. This is a mistake. You know me. You know I would never hurt you." Tamara looked into his eyes she had once loved, eyes she once trusted, and she saw nothing but lies. Her voice was calm and steady. "You already tried to hurt me, Mike. You just failed." His body stiffened as if her words were stones hurled at him. Agent K tried to slip toward the door, but an officer shoved him back into his seat. "You're not going anywhere," the officer shouted. Outside, the commotion had drawn a crowd. Destiny was still sitting in the car, scrolling through her phone, smiling to herself. She didn't know the storm that had already broken inside. When Mike was dragged out in handcuffs, Destiny's smiling face changed instantly. Her phone slipped from her hand and fell to the floor. "No," she muttered, shaking her head. She opened the car door and tried to run, but two female officers grabbed her arms. "Please, please, I don't know anything," she screamed. Her knees buckled as they forced her forward. "It was him. He promised me. He forced me." Tamara stepped outside just in time, her eyes cold, her face unreadable. Destiny fell at her feet, sobbing. "Madam, forgive me. Please, I was foolish. I didn't mean to do it." Tamara stared down at her. Her voice was low, sharp, haunting. "You entered my home. You ate my food. I clothed you. I treated you nicely. You called me your madam, and yet you betrayed me." Destiny wept harder, clutching at the hem of Tamara's dress, but the officers pulled her away. The police van carried Mike and Destiny in the back. Tamara rode in a separate car with Inspector Ikenna. Through the barred window, Mike's voice came out loud. "Tamara, I loved you. I did everything for us," he shouted, his voice breaking. "You will regret this." But his threats sounded hollow now. He was a man stripped of power. Tamara closed her eyes, her hands folded in her lap. She whispered, "Better to know the truth now than to die in silence of what I know nothing about." The van drove on, sirens wailing faintly as they cut through Abuja traffic. The interrogation room was cold. Mike sat hunched, sweat dripping from his forehead. Destiny sat apart, her eyes swollen from crying. Inspector Ikenna dropped the forged land papers onto the table. "Explain this," he demanded. Mike stammered. It was business. Just business." "Business?" The inspector slammed the table. "Stealing your wife's land is business. Trying to poison her is business. Sleeping with the house help and planning to run to Accra? Is that what business means to you?" Mike had no words. His lips trembled. His eyes darted around like a trapped rat. Then Destiny broke down completely. She sobbed, her voice shaking. "It was his plan. He asked me out. He promised me marriage. He said we would be rich in Ghana. He said she would not even know." Mike turned on her instantly. "Shut up, you village champion. Don't lie against me." Destiny glared through her tears. "You used me. You never loved me." The inspector wrote everything down, his pen scratching across the paper like a gavel. "Good. Keep confessing. The court will hear all of this." When Tamara was called in, she spoke slowly, every word heavy. She told them about the late-night whispers, the phone discovery, the doctor's message, the forged documents. She showed them her emails and recorded evidence. When she finished, the inspector leaned back and exhaled. "Madam, you are very brave. Most women ignore the signs. You acted, and because you acted, you are alive today." Tamara's eyes filled with quiet tears. She whispered, "God gave me the courage." As Tamara left the room, she passed the holding cell. Mike gripped the bars, his once handsome face twisted in rage and desperation. "Tamara!" he shouted. His voice echoed through the station. "I built everything for us. I gave you love. And you repay me with this?" She stopped, turned, and looked at him one last time. "No, Mike," she said softly, her words like knives wrapped in silk. "I gave you everything. You destroyed it all, not me." Then she walked away. Mike's scream followed her down the corridor, but it sounded less like a man and more like a ghost, already fading into the dark. 2 months later, the High Court in Abuja was overflowing. Journalists with flashing cameras crowded the front. Neighbors, friends, and strangers packed into the gallery. Everyone wanted to witness the fall of the man once seen as charming and fashionable. Mike stood in the dock, no longer the fashionable man in designer clothes. His crisp shirts were gone. He wore a faded prison uniform. His shoulders, once broad with pride, now sagged under shame. His face looked older, his eyes hollow. Beside him stood Destiny, her head bowed, her hands shaking. Her low-cut hair was rough, her lips dry, her once bright face shadowed by regret. The judge's gavel struck. The court fell silent. "Michael Obi and Destiny Okon," the judge said, his voice ringing across the chamber. "You are charged with conspiracy, attempted fraud, and attempted murder. The evidence against you is overwhelming." Gasps echoed as the forged land documents were displayed, the voice recordings played, and Dr. Uch's medical message read aloud. The truth filled the room like thunder. Mike's lawyer tried weakly. "My lord, this was all a misunderstanding." "Enough," the judge cut him short. He turned to Mike. "You vowed to protect your wife. Instead, you plotted her destruction. You tried to steal her inheritance, betray her trust, and expose her to disease." The gavel came down hard. "You are guilty." Mike's face twisted, his lips trembling. He shouted across the courtroom, "Tamara! Tell them I loved you." Tamara sat quietly in the witness stand, her face calm. She turned her eyes to him and said only a few words. "You loved yourself. Not me." Her voice cut through him sharper than the judge's gavel. Destiny broke down completely. She sobbed loudly and uncontrollable, falling to her knees. "Madam, please forgive me. I was foolish. I followed him because I didn't want to go back to my village. I was greedy and blind." But Tamara only closed her eyes. She had no words left for the girl who destroyed her home. The judge's sentence was firm. Mike would spend many years in prison. Destiny, too, would serve her punishment. The court erupted with murmurs, journalists scribbling, cameras flashing. The perfect couple was no more. When Tamara walked out of the courthouse, cameras followed her, questions shouted into the air. "Madam, how do you feel? Madam, what is your message to women out there?" She paused for a moment. She looked into the sea of microphones and flashing lights. Her eyes shone with quiet strength. "My message is simple," she said. Her voice was calm. "Do not ignore the signs. Do not let love blind you to danger. Trust your gut and listen to the tiny voice inside. It may save your life." And then she walked away, her heels clicking against the marble. her head held high. Back home, her house was quiet now. No more secret laughter in the corridors. No more whispers by the car. She poured herself a glass of water, sat by the window, and took a deep breath. She thought of her father's lands and property, safe now. She thought of her health, protected. She thought of the man she once loved, gone forever. Her heart still carried scars, but she was alive. She was free. She whispered softly, "May we not marry our enemies as husbands? Thank you, God, for saving me." And in that silence, she knew she was stronger than she ever thought. Checking her husband's phone did not destroy her marriage. It exposed the truth that saved her life. Sometimes love blinds us from speaking, but silence kills faster. What you hide in darkness will one day come to light. Ladies and gentlemen, betrayal always comes from the ones closest to you. Pay attention. Listen before it's too late. Thank you for watching. Please support me by liking and subscribing to my channel. See you in the next one.